Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator. And in keeping in line with what's in our food that I've done a couple videos about recently and have a doozy of one for next week. This was headlines on April 1st, okay, but it really isn't an April 1st joke. But due to a DEA arrangement, um, Coca-Cola has a New Jersey factory that imports cocaine. You're like, oh, I thought that was illegal. Yes, it is. But when you're Coke and you have a special arrangement, a very special arrangement with the DEA, the Daily Mail says that Coke produces as much as 2 billion of pure cocaine every year in a secretive New Jersey factory, all thanks to its iconic recipe and a very special arrangement with the DEA. And yes, this right here is an April 1st, 2023 article, as is this New York Post article. And right here, ThoughtCo, Coke ingredients and their function, what's really in Coca-Cola. And when you come down here, this was September 29th, 2022. It says you probably know that once upon a time Coca-Cola or Coke contained cocaine. What you might not know is that the beverage is still flavored with an extract from the cocoa leaf, and that the cocaine which is extracted from the leaves is sold for medicinal use. So the Stefan Company extracts cocaine with the coca leaves, which is sold to Mallinckrodt, Mallinckrot, the only U.S. company that is licensed to purify cocaine. So, and they say these are the other ingredients in Coke. And right here, technology.org, this is March 15th, 2019. It says Coca-Cola does not contain Coke anymore, but there still is a connection to the production of the drug. Now, before we hear about that connection, this is from Coca-Cola Company right here, and how Coca-Cola is providing even greater product and ingredient transparency. Now, I did that about Hershey's last night, where the guy sued because the dark chocolate has the heavy metals, lead, and cadmium in it. But, there's a little video here. Let's just pay attention to some of it.
Finding out what's inside the products you buy shouldn't be a mystery. Coca-Cola believes that making a decision about what product to buy should be as easy as it is to enjoy it, and that everyone should have access to info on a product that goes way beyond what's on the label. The Coca-Cola Company is fully committed to promoting clear and transparent facts across all of its products that will allow its consumers to make more informed choices. One of the ways
Okay, so they want you making informed choices. Okay, we're just gonna fast forward this a little bit. We'll catch some more of this
on your smartphone or tablet. The Smart Label codes on the Coca-Cola Company's products instantly provide valuable nutritional data, in-depth ingredient info, and ingredient definitions, so nothing is a mystery. Allergen info, organic certifications, content about genetically modified organisms or GMOs, and an abundance of additional product info that you just can't squeeze onto a normal label. But if you...
Okay, so now I don't download apps. I didn't download the QR code app that you have to download to take a picture of your QR code, and then, it tells you everything that's in the Coke product that you're consuming. But it says here, this is in this Coke video, it says that caffeine comes from the leaves, seeds, or fruits of more than 60 plants. It's found in beverages and foods such as coffee, teas, colas, chocolate. They're putting a lot of cocoa leaves into your products. And I don't know, they say it's the caffeine that keeps you up at night. I know Diet Coke keeps me up. I know that for sure. So let's see what these articles have to say. So there's a Maywood-based facility which is managed by the Stepan, Stepan company, and it has been processing coca leaves for the soft drink giant for more than a decade and had its license to import them renewed by the Drug Enforcement Agency earlier that year. And this is a 2023 article. So they're getting to do this for a while now. So it says the cocoa leaves are used to create a decocainized ingredient for the soda, and the leftover byproduct is sold to the opioid manufacturing company Mellon Crockett, Linckrott, which uses the powder to make a number of to make numbing agents for dentists. So it says it's unclear how much cocoa the Stepan company imports annually, although the New York Times reported in 1988 that it brought in between 56 and 580 metric tons of cocoa leaves from Peru and Bolivia each year. And that's citing DEA figures, but that's like a tenfold difference. So it could be one or it could be 10. I mean, that that's a huge discrepancy into how much we're not sure they bring in. So here's some cocoa leaves, and this Maywood, New Jersey company has the country's only license to import bulk shipments of cocoa leaves, which are used to make cocaine or coke. Decocainized coca leaves is what Coke uses. Now, the interesting thing about that is yeah, if I was a techno gizmo guru, I might have gone out and scanned in a Coke QR code to see if it lists anywhere in the 60 plants, cocoa plants, decocainized cocoa plants, cocoa leaves. But here it says that an author in 2012, Ricardo Cortes, wrote that he obtained records from the National Company of Coca, a Peruvian state-owned company, which showed that up to 104 tons of cocoa leaves were exported to Maywood each year between 2007 and 2010. And I guess back even in 1921, companies and their monies got favors in legislation. I'm not sure, but it says importing cocoa leaves was banned in 1921, but the legislation left an exemption for Maywood Chemical Works, which ran the factory before Stepan Company bought the site in 1959. So they made it illegal to import cocoa leaves except for this one company, and that is out there in legislation somewhere. So the Mrs. Institute wrote that Coca-Cola's success as the mega company it is today, which is worth around 265 billion, is due at least in part to special privileges granted by the government during World War II and the suppression of potential competitors in the early years of Harry Ansinger's anti-drug policy. So, yeah, it left competitors. Coke's not going to sell their decocainized cocoa leaves to their competitors. So, so Coke had the advantage, according to the Mrs. Institute. And this Aislinger's anti-drug policy is Aislinger was the former head of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics between 1930 and 1962. So maybe before the DEA, it was called the Bureau of Narcotics. And right here, that they talk about forces joined together to deflect a Life's magazine report about the story of the cocoa leaf importation when that Cortez that author of the 2020 A Secret History of Coffee, Cocoa, and Cola. So that Cortez wrote that he saw letters between Aslinger and the Mayward Chemical Works joining forces to deflect a Life's magazine reporter story about the cocoa leaf importation. Mayward's chemical president, M.J. Hardung, wrote to Aslinger in 1949, "We do not desire the publicity which such an article might bring us." And then the next year, the Federal Bureau of Narcotics filed an internal memo regarding the matter. They said less publicity of articles about cocoa leaves and narcotics drugs will be better for the public. That was in July 1950. So, yeah, maybe they weren't so transparent about their ingredients back then. So yeah, then this Daily Mail article, yes, it does say that this company manufactures as much as 2 billion of pure cocaine every year. Now, none of these articles define how you decocainize cocoa leaves and what the benefit of those cocoa leaves would have after they've been decocainized, but they're worth something to Coke. And it says here that the DEA did not respond to a request from DailyMail.com for details as to how much coca the company imports, but in the 1980s it was reported that more than 500 metric tons of leaves could enter the plant in a single year. 500 tons of leaves might produce something in the region of 2 million grams of cocaine, which according to pharmaceutical companies listing online could be worth around $2 billion because they have exclusive rights by the DEA that came from legislation in the 20s for them to be the only people who does this. So Coca-Cola eventually spoke about this secretive agreement in the late 1980s, but they don't really talk a whole lot about it. And that Cortez author told the DailyMail.com there, it seems like they're referring to the Mayward, company, the most American red, white, and blue brand, but they don't want to be associated with the drug wars. I don't know, maybe they're the most red, white, and blue brand because they're making a lot of money, but it's not really exactly free capitalism money. But I don't know. Maybe they wave the flag. So here's some pictures of that Maywood plant, and a couple more, and a couple more. And right here, this one says, "Warning: U.S. government controlled area of potentially hazardous material. No trespassing." And the article says that the neighbors say that there is often a police car stationed outside the plant. Yeah, there's probably a couple of unmarked cars inside there too. But the neighbors say that the chemical factory puts out plumes of smoke early in the morning and sometimes late at night. And they say when they release smoke, early in the morning, that's when they release smoke. And sometimes when I'm walking, it can smell like burning very strong. And they say that Stefan runs New Jersey operation using 2 licenses, which it renews each year. One allows the company to import the cocoa leaves, and the other gives it permission to manufacture other controlled substances. But down here, they talk about this Dr. John Stith Pemberton in the 1880s. He was the one who invented the drink. He was a biochemist and pharmacist from Georgia, and he concocted a unique syrup blending of cocoa leaf extract, which was known at the time to contain increasingly popular cocaine, with the West African cola nuts containing caffeine. The syrup would be diluted with soda and was marketed as a medicine for combating pain and fatigue. Pemberton's drink quickly grew in popularity in the 1988. His son sold the recipe patent to the Georgia businessman Asa Riggs Candler, Candler, for around $2,300, the equivalent of around $75,000 today. And Candler founded the Coca-Cola Company to make use of the patent, and famously marketed Coke as being delicious, refreshing, exhilarating, and invigorating. And they stopped using cocaine in the drink at the turn of the 19th century, but it continues to use cocoa leaves for flavor. So for flavor, and now, yeah, it would just be interesting to know if, I don't know, if any of you people go out there and, do this QR code test and see if Coke lists any of those 60 plants as the cocoa leaves that they are allowed to bring into the country due to a special arrangement with the DEA. So, very interesting, people. Stay tuned.